Hey everybody, and welcome to Project Premium Harvest, and also happy election day. It is November 5th and the US elections are underway. We will see a new president by the end of this, but that's not why you're here. You're here to talk about finances, and this video is going to be all about the RoundHill distributions for xdte, qdte, and rdte. And as you guys know, the first thing I like to start on my channel is to look at my Robinhood portfolio. Currently it's at $112,179.56. There's a couple updates. If you guys haven't been tracking some of my latest videos, is that I did sell out of tsly. So I had an $18,000 position there, sold out of it. So now I have $18,000 in cash. I took about a $2,000 loss, but I've been losing faith with how yieldmax has been performing or running its option strategies. So I'm not going to keep investing into a ETF that is a sinking ship, right? So now that is off the table. I'm thinking about reinvesting that $18,000. And then the last week, I took about $10,000 from that $18,000 and then threw that into xdte. And then here are the results in this first distribution with a $10,000 marker. All right, so looking at this first distribution, this is going to be for xdte and for the week of November 6th through the 11th, we're going to have a distribution of about 21 cents per share. Now let's move over to qdte. And so for qdte, for the November 6th through the 8th, we're going to have a distribution of 26 cents. And then for rdte, the last weekly payer for RoundHill, we're going to have a distribution of 26 cents as well. So that's kind of the quick little update. Now we're going to look at some of the graphs and the metrics to see how this fund is performing in the last week and then also in the last year. So in the last 5 days, xdte is down 1.28%. Not too great, but if you look at the SPY in general, it is also down almost 0.87%. So xdte's actually took a almost double hit compared to the SPY. But we'll take a look at the yearly value and see how it looks. Right. So in the last year, xdte is basically down 0.63%. Recently, there has been a downward trend in the S&P 500, but now actually today in the election day, the S&P 500 has been shooting up a little bit higher and higher. And I bought my xdte somewhere around this point, about 51.70, because it was a bit of a dip. And then if it ever gets up to like this 52, almost $53, I plan on selling it. I'm very fluid when it comes to these high premium ETFs, because you can see here, when is the best time to buy these funds? It's whenever there's a dip, right? There's a significant dip, you buy at this dip and then wait for the uptrend, and you sell this uptrend, and then eventually you know there's going to be another dip, as you can see here. So these funds are all about timing it the right way. Okay, so now let's look at SPY, and then let's look at qdte. How does that look on the screen? Pretty good. Okay, so for qdte, it's been down almost 2%. It's at 1.91. Not too great. You don't want to see it because, as I said, the S&P 500 was only down 0.87%. So this is almost down double plus some. And then, but if we look at the year, overall in the last year, it's down 8.74%. Not a big fan of that when it comes to these RoundHill, or even just speaking about yieldmax. I don't like seeing any NAV erosion because they're basically taking your money that you invested in the fund and giving it back to you, and they're praising themselves like, oh, look, our dividend is so great, but they're just taking the money out of your fund and giving it back to you. So I don't like seeing any NAV erosion, and every time I see it, it's disgusting to me. But qdte, not too bad, right? The distribution is pretty good. So nothing bad to say there. If you're invested in it, there isn't any like red lights or sirens going off for you to sell off on it. But 8% down when the S&P 500 has been up, in that same time frame, 32%. I don't know if it's a smart investment, right? At least xdte, it basically held its value, and you got a premium because it's only down what, not even 1%, but you got your premium. So that's kind of what you're looking for, is to keep that NAV neutral. But something where you're losing money, and on top of that, if you just invest in SPY, your money would go a lot further. Yes, I understand that you are getting a weekly premium. That is great, but just we're looking at this holistically right now. And then the final comparison is RoundHill's rdte. So For rdte, it's only down 0.5%. So this doesn't necessarily cover the S&P 500. It follows small caps. So it's going to be different, right? But in the last 5 days, not too bad, only down 0.5%, and it also had a 26-cent distribution. So not terrible. Let's look at the year. I know it hasn't been out a year, but just kind of do a catch-all. Performance, it's up 2.16%. So, I mean, what, this fund has only been out for maybe a month and a half, coming up on 2 months. It's actually performing not too bad, but I'm not diving into this just yet, right? It still could be the honeymoon phase, lipstick on, makeup perfect, and you're just going to look past some of the red flags. But, you know, 26 to about 30-cent distributions on top of that, some actual NAV appreciation. That's kind of what we're looking for here, you know. But I want to give this fund maybe another month to about 6 months to actually see the performance of it, to kind of gauge the ups and downs. Yeah, depending on if the market's good, market's bad. So I kind of want to do a little bit more analysis before I'm even going to consider throwing this into my portfolio. But right now, there are signs that this is good, and I am trending towards it. All right, guys, looking at this last little bit here. So I didn't make a video last week, but last week's distribution between JEPI, JEPQ, and xdte was about $16.50. And then this week, now that I added about, you know, $10,000 to xdte, the distribution is about $53.86. So not super great, but end of the day, the NAV erosion isn't affected too much. I'm getting consistent premium, which is what I'm looking for, and that's the goal for this specific project. But then, I mean, the more shares I'm going to buy, the better. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Definitely upward trend. As you can see, that's what we're going for here, you know, buying more shares, more dividend, more premium, good to go. Same thing with this bottom graph here with JEPI, JEPQ. I kind of made the xdte distributions a little bit bigger because that's really the only ones I care about. It's where I have more of my money. But yeah, guys, that wraps up the videos. Quick little RoundHill Weekly payer update, see how my account's doing and things like that. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Enjoy your journey. Have fun out there. Good luck on your journeys.